Hey, welcome to Healthier and Happier Humans, episode number 4, and we are going to be talking about macronutrients. I am Ashley McGee, and I'm super excited to be talking about this. This is actually a client request, so shout out to my girl Pam. And just to let you know, if there's a topic that you want me to dive into that you're either confused about or want more information about, let me know. Either comment on the videos, shoot me an email. I'll make sure the links are down in the show notes for this. But yeah, macronutrients. Okay. A lot has been said about macros lately, and it's confusing people straight up. But it's really, really simple. And so that's what I want to do is break it down for you and also give you some recommendations about how I treat macros. So macronutrients are 3 categories: proteins, carbohydrates, and fat. All food is made from a combination of macros. They contain calories, and that is the gist, right? But I want to break down each one individually. And I want to start with one that tends to get a bad rap thanks to some really absurd marketing ploys back in, I think it started in the 80s. So let's start with fat. Okay, first of all, this is going to be a little bit of a mini rant. Fat does not make you fat. Excess sugars do. Healthy fat is actually super, super critical for your body to work properly. So, okay, things that fat helps in your body: hormone regulation, brain function, energy, libido, focus, immune system. It helps your body absorb nutrients. Okay, pause there, right? So if you are eating a healthy, clean diet full of nutrients and just great things for your body, if you're not getting enough fat, your body is not taking it in. That sucks. Okay. And it also helps you feel fuller longer. So, fun fact, having healthy fats in your diet is the trick to losing weight and not being hungry. Those low fat diets make you super carb dependent, which burns out really fast. So you feel like you're starving all the time. And that's why those are diets and not lifestyles, because you can't maintain it long term. Okay, moving on to protein. Protein is basically broken down into amino acids in your body. So it does things like create enzymes and hormones that repair and build muscle fiber, healthy hair and nails, healthy cell membranes, and it also helps us keep us fuller longer. Okay, and then let's go to the last one, carbs. Carbs basically break down into sugar for energy. They break down in glucose. Most people are consuming way too many carbohydrates, and they don't even know, because a lot of times we're like, oh, don't eat bread, don't eat pasta, right? But they're carbs are in everything for the most part. So you may be consuming a lot of carbs and you don't even realize it. And the reason why this is problematic is because when you have an excess of carbohydrates in your diet, you can create basically an excess of the hunger hormone insulin. And when you have excess insulin in your body, it creates an inflammatory response. So it can lead to joint pain, weight gain, sugar addiction. When you are craving sugar like a madman, you probably are having way too many carbs in your daily life. Excess hunger. And the other thing too is not all carbs are created equal. So simple carbs, things like candy, fruit, pasta, right? Those are simple carbs that convert to sugar really quickly. So when you do mix in carbohydrates, you want to do more complex carbs. They take longer to process, and so you get more energy out of them. But you also want to be careful there, because a lot of the complex carbs that we have, which are a lot of grains, for example, many of them create an inflammatory response in your system. So this is all about knowledge and learning and testing to feel what works for your body and what doesn't. And that's the biggest thing that I like to be a proponent of, is just awareness. So many of my clients are like, hey, I really want to get healthy. I want to lose weight. I say, okay, so how do you describe a typical day of meals for me? And they're like, right. Okay. That's how a lot of people are living their life. So I am a huge proponent of food tracking, not necessarily forever, right? And also I do want to put a disclaimer in there. If you have struggled with eating disorders or just this is something that can be difficult or triggering for you, obviously, I am not recommending this for everyone, but I do like it as a tool to increase awareness. So now let's go into this. Okay. So tracking macros. Notice I say tracking macros and not tracking calories, because even though our culture has dove into this, oh, calorie this, calorie that, only 100 calories, blah, 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 not all calories are created equal because of the macros, right? So instead of focusing on calories, looking at a macro breakdown, I think is way more beneficial for figuring out your health. So, and again, it's all about awareness. If you want to make a change, you need to know where your starting point is. Like I said, most people are eating way too many carbs. A lot of people are still ascribing to that BS low fat lifestyle. And if you want to leave nasty comments, fine, but that's how I feel. And also a lot of women actually typically don't get enough protein, which is interesting. So tracking your macros can really create a lot of awareness, and it gives you a starting point. So I personally use MyFitnessPal to track macros. And again, I don't do this all the time. You get to a point when you track your food that you can kind of do it intuitively. But, I'm going to start tracking my macros again here shortly because I'm kind of due for a reset. Life has been really crazy. And even though I eat a pretty clean, healthy diet, I think I am a little higher in carb than I usually like to be. But I do want to share some personal experience about what this has done for me, because that's where I'm coming from, right? And by the way, a lot of this information and facts I learned from going through the 131 method, which is a lifestyle diet phasing program that was created by Chalene Johnson after doing a ton of research, and she has dietitians and nutritionists on hand. Wonderful program. If you want more info about that, please let me know. But going through that program and learning about macro tracking, this is what I learned. So I was definitely higher carbs and not getting enough healthy fats. So when I adjusted my diet to be lower carb and higher, like moderate protein, moderate fat was kind of where I ended up shaking things out. My chronic heartburn went away, and I was actually just about to get to the point where I had to go on medication for it because I had struggled with heartburn since high school, and it was getting to the point where if I didn't go on medication, I ran the risk of, creating lifetime damage to my esophagus. So that was a huge wake-up call, right? Because I don't personally like to be on medication if I don't have to be, and having a natural way, literally just changing my eating slightly, got rid of my heartburn. Amazing. I also have noticed huge changes in my hunger. I'm not as hungry throughout the day. I was definitely someone that was having a snack every couple hours, and I don't need to do that anymore. I actually intermittent fast and eat all of my meals in about a 10-hour window. That's personally what works best for me, and I can do a show on intermittent fasting. In fact, I will. But so we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I used to be a person that had to eat as soon as I got up in the morning, otherwise I would get nauseous. And again, by changing my diet, I realized that wasn't something that was completely oh, this is the way my body is, it's set forever. I just had to change my eating habits, and I have way more energy, and I'm not hungry all the time, which is, for anyone that has ever been hungry all the time, that's a great feeling. So if you are interested in learning more about this, and maybe doing some coaching, right? I help people through this process. I help maintain accountability for them. So I'll put a link to my free coaching session in the show notes as well. And then lastly, I want to shout out my girl Sam. She's at Core Fit, which is her fitness company, and she actually does customized macros. So you can work with her and she will like take a bunch of information from you and based on that give you like, hey, this is how you should be eating your macro percentages, right? Like here's the breakdown. And you can give her goals and everything like that. So if you are interested in doing personalized macros, also let me know. I will hook you up with my girl Sam. And I'm so excited that you're watching this because it means that you care about learning more about how to fuel your body optimally and you know, you're open to trying something different. So, and again, I believe in lifestyle. I don't believe in diets. So this is something that can really set you up for success for your life. So please let me know, what was your biggest takeaway? Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions for future episodes, and I will talk to you again next week. Thank you guys for tuning in.